How rare is it for entrepreneurs to earn over 60k profit per month? I'm trying to set up my goal of monthly profit of my future business to around 60k USD, and I wonder if it's realistic or not. Is it something like extremely rare even to be on TV? Like top 0.001%? Or is it only like around top 1-3%, which I feel quite realistically achievable? Not rare at all. Totally doable. You just need to think scale from the very beginning and not build a job. Every chain company you see driving around does more than that. They were all started by an entrepreneur. You don't have to start a small business. You are limited only by your willingness to press forward and build. You need to think like a CEO though, and not the jack of all trades that runs a business single-handedly. Entrepreneur businesses that make 60k per month are much more rare. 99% of people don't even try to push their lives beyond the status quo. That is why 1% of people are different. Edit. I was actually inspired to discuss this on the show. That makes me feel more confident. Thank you very much, CAC. If you suck, it's very unrealistic. If you are smart, it is not unrealistic at all. It has nothing to do with percentages. You are not a population. You are one person. You could be homeless or a billionaire or a middle-class worker, and it has nothing to do with what other people are doing and what the stats are. It is determined by what you do. This is a great question because I was confronting myself with the same thought. When you just focus on the money, you will maybe find out that many entrepreneurs have struggles to earn above the average income, like in Germany. Especially small business owners who have opened on the same street the 20th fashion shop or restaurant, or like many freelance entrepreneurs who are doing $5 contracts on Fiverr, Upwork and company. It would be better for them to work as an employee from the financial aspect. But these people found the reason why they are doing it, and only the same people who are going the same way will give you the fully understanding and respect for what you are doing. These people found their reason why they are doing it, and they keep going on the daily basis even if they earn much less money than they could earn. From my experience, the range between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur is huge. Either you earn less than the average income like most people do I know, or you are definitely above the average income. The reason for this is that no one with only 1 year of experience as a self-employed person can be compared to someone who has been in the business for more than 10 years. Likewise, no one can compare who does what everyone does with someone who at least asks the question, does the local market need a 20th restaurant, or does Upwork needs the hundreds of thousands of social media managers? If you want to start your business and you have at the same time the possibility to earn 60k plus or year, I would recommend you to stay at the job. Save as much money as possible and start from your financial security you have right now, your side business. Take risks and see what could work for you and what not. I think the biggest reason why people want to start their own business is because they are fed up with the working conditions, treatments and the environment they have to be 5 days in a week. They feel that they have been sucked by this environment, and they feel the constantly emptiness in their life. To be an entrepreneur means also to take your life back and gain control for you want to do and not what you should do or what others tell you have to do. Asking the question of how much an average self-employed person earns is the right way to make a decision for yourself personally. But you could overlook something important that can bring you independence that is out of proportion to the financial aspect. To lead a free and self-determined life, $60,000 per month equals $720,000 per year, assuming a 10 to 20% margin. Greater than that is $3.6 million to $7.2 million yearly revenue. How many businesses exist that do at least $3.6 million to $7.2 million in revenue and are owned by a single entrepreneur? A lot. Percentages don't matter. In a world where GDPs are measured in the trillions and business knowledge is so widely and freely available, it is more realistic and achievable to hit your goal now than it ever has been before. 1. Enter a market that's large enough to support this size of business. 2. Create a product, service, or system that's among the best in the industry. 3. Always be learning, implementing, and optimizing from a business or marketing standpoint. 4. Don't quit. Do the above and your odds of hitting your goal are pretty good. I'm gonna join and say simply, yes, it's possible and realistic. So I read this and straight away thought, yeah, it's super doable and fairly common. Then I thought, wow, why am I not doing it then? Awesome thread and replies from everyone. It's strange what can make you end up thinking bigger or differently. I don't think the people who make $60,000 or more plus ask these kinds of questions. If you must know though, there were over 40,000 single-person businesses in the US making $1 million or profit in 2018. Source, IRS. That's more than the student population undergraduate and graduate at Harvard. Source, Harvard. Most people don't get into Harvard. But, ask anyone and they'll say that it's easier to get into Harvard than to make $1 million or. This is roughly where I am at, but you need to realize that pocketing $60K or more and netting $60K or more are two completely different things. Your business can net $60K and you can put zero into your personal bank account. To net $60K or more, your business is probably scaling, so you need to implement systems and structure, which is very expensive. If you're selling more product, you most likely need to double or triple your order volume, which eats your net very quickly, and you will need to take hard debt to maintain your growth trajectory. To pocket $60K or more, your business realistically needs to net $150–250K or more, and you're already attributing a significant portion of that back into your business. On a 10% net margin, that means your company is doing somewhere around 15–40 depending on the model. SaaS is way more profitable than manufacturing or CPG-based companies. I love this approach and breakdown. This is so key and I overlooked it for a long time. It is tempting when starting to jump ahead and want to come back to the boring systems later. Big mistake. You will still succeed at first either way, but without systems, every month of growth comes with equal amounts of extra stress and work. Eventually your success starts to become the very thing that is crushing you. As the founder of a SaaS company, and at risk of hijacking the thread, I'd wager building a profitable SaaS is way more difficult than a CPG or manufacturing company. I have many friends on this forum who go from product concept to Amazon plus seeded reviews within 3 to 6 months. Developing a SaaS has a much longer initial product and customer development cycle. I'm not saying it's more or less difficult to build. I'm saying they are more profitable due to their margins and required overhead, which is what factors into the ops questions. Oh, for sure, I didn't take it that way. I was just highlighting the pros or cons. CPG or physical product pro, fast time to market con, margins in the 10 to 20%, and margins can be eaten up by tariffs, importing fees, shipping costs, breakage, shrinks. As pro, high margins generally 90% plus margin. Con, high operating costs generally 10 to 20% of spent on engineering salaries alone. Con, slow time to market. That's all I meant. Extremely difficult but definitely possible. Getting sales is very easy. Making a profit is very hard. This is a super interesting perspective, and, I have to admit, I think you're damn right. I like how you looked at it from a different perspective entirely. Very cool, thanks for sharing that viewpoint. Subtle, but for some reason, really resonated with me. That's not a good analogy. Getting into an Ivy League school is dependent on being accurate within a definite structure, i.e. grades and standardized test scores set up by authorities. There's a ceiling. In the entrepreneurial world there is no ceiling at all. It is dependent on selling and making a profit. There is no structure except law and regulations. Making $1 million per year can be done by anyone even without a college degree. I know people who went to Ivy League schools, and while they are smarter and more pleasant to be with than the average person, they have limitations in all kinds of ways, not just economic. In fact, high economic and scholastic achievement do not have a correlation. So I believe it is far easier to make $1 million a year than to get into the Ivy League. Honestly, $60,000 a month sounds like a pretty normal number for a fast lane business. I would consider as realistic as the fast lane in general, which I would consider pretty realistic. If you had, for example, a subscription-based service that was $10 a month, you'd need 6,000 subscribers. That's not very many people. I mean, America has 350 million people. Great point, but I think he means income, not revenue. Even on something as low overhead as SaaS, you're going to have expenses. How are they generating this kind of revenue in tiny, one-person firms? Among the top industries were professional services 9,745, construction 4,699, real estate 3,050, retail 2,976, healthcare and social services 2,791, and finance 2,781. Source. My guess would be that they hire contractors, not full-time employees. Thus the misleading distinction of being a one-person, greater than one-man show. Except not really, since you will need freelancers, contractors, handymen, etc. I could be completely wrong though, and I would love to find out more from someone who better understands this, especially someone who has read Elaine Pofelt's book. How they do it is the right question. I don't know any one-person business that earns a $1 million profit a year, but I do know very small companies with an owner or two family members and maybe a warehouse person and receptionist to answer the phone and type invoices. They are distributors of various products. They don't produce anything. They just buy products and resell them. Most seem to live very well. Like multi-houses, private schools, small plane, etc. Know-how is the key. If you knew that you could buy, say, shoes from a manufacturer and then sell them to distributors and retail stores and earn $1 million a year, a lot of people would gladly get in the business. I will add, there is no book that will teach you this valuable know-how. On this forum maybe people will share actual examples. I really like the way your brain works. I need to be more like you. Thanks. Sorry, but what? I owned an e-commerce store that sold one product and my profit margins were about $900 per day, straight to the pocket. 40%. That means almost $30,000 pure profit a month. Didn't last more than a few months, but that's a different story, and the fault is 100% mine, not the business model or product. All that assuming you already have a scalable, profitable business. You proved my point in your post. You also didn't hit $60,000. If you implement systems, people, and infrastructure, your business isn't contingent on you, which is what anyone serious should be striving to do. I don't own e-commerce stores, I own brands that use e-commerce as a sales channel. Haha, I'll take the punches with love. I'm here to learn. You are correct in your analysis. I'd love to read a post from you on your e-com operations. 40,000 self-employed businesses making $1 million plus. How many self-employed businesses are there though? According to Google, 16 million. Yeah, it's rare. Stats on sales, not net profits. Yes, and since it includes finance and real estate, doesn't that mean it includes those who are merely managing their money system at this stage? We need more information. I didn't immediately find statistics for the US, but about 5% of self-employed people make over £50,000 in the UK. That means that most self-employed people have no idea what they're doing as business owners, or they're doing it as a hobby. I'd bet that the vast majority of small business people build jobs, and they clearly suck at doing that. I wonder what percent of people attempt to build businesses for scale like said. I'd bet that a much higher percentage of those people make it to $1 million a year. This, 100%. If you look at so many entrepreneur forums, online discussions, etc., you see so many people talk about the odds of getting rich or hitting some figure or whatever. That's not how life works. You don't hear people talking about what the odds are of a home cook becoming a professional chef, or a regular exerciser becoming a bodybuilder, or whether or not those are realistic goals. If you want those things, you set that as your ultimate goal, and then figure out what steps you need to do to get there. Better questions are individual specific. If I work out twice a week for 30 minutes, but don't regulate my diet, is it realistic to expect I'll become a competitive bodybuilder? Hell no. The activity doesn't match the goal. You can turn this into an entrepreneurial question too. If I sell homemade sweaters that takes me 3 weeks to make each and I sell them for $100, can I make $60,000 per month? Hell no. The activity doesn't match the goal. Now, you can look at what you're doing now and figure out the ceiling, or you can set a future goal and figure out how to get there, but none of this has anything to do with the odds of it happening or what's realistic as a goal. To determine what's realistic, you have to define parameters. Good one. Similarly, if I spend hours surfing forums, avoiding work, but call myself an entrepreneur, is it realistic that I will build a fast lane business? Now, back to work. What product exactly were you selling? Indestructible smartphone case, when they were hot or new, and FB ads was easier. My ad went viral and my specific case was unique and was not sold by many other stores. That's one major problem in business. A certain situation only lasts a limited amount of time. If you can detail how you bought and sold the cases from start to finish, it would be a great case study for people on this forum. Don't see problems where solutions are possible. If I was more experienced or skillful back then, I could have branded my store and come up with a marketing plan, and by now I would have a 7-figure store. I have too much on my hands right now with 2 new stores I'm about to launch, but I will write a case study for this community in the near future. About what I did back then. I was drop shipping from China through an agent. You can find all the information you need to do this online. Running a successful store is not easy, but it is possible if you really want it and can stick through the ups and downs. It would be very interesting and very helpful to many people if you detailed exactly what you did. Just saying dropshipping is not enough. What is needed is something like I contacted company X and got pricing for every unit sold. Details like that show exactly how it was done. Most success books just talk about having a positive attitude, etc. That's definitely important, but the exact know if critical and getting money into one's bank account. So a detailed case study would be unprecedented. I know what it's like to be in your position, but pay close attention to the words I write, otherwise you miss critical information. I wrote 3 important words. 1. Agent. 2. Dropshipping. 3. China. If you Google those words, together or separately, you will find blogs, YouTube videos, articles, courses, FB groups, subreddits, etc. These pages will contain more information than I could disclose here right now, and it's also going to be presented in a more structured and easy to digest form, and you could participate in ongoing discussions as well as ask questions and so forth. So, really, it is better for you to do that. At any rate, you wrote just saying dropshipping is not enough. What is needed is something like I contacted company X and got pricing for every unit sold. The reason you're confused is because you don't know what dropshipping is. Go look that up and you will see that contacted company X and got pricing for every unit sold is just that, and so your question makes no sense. To help you out, find a place to start dropshipping. Look up Gabriel St. Germain's channel on JoinVoom Ecom FB's group and their channel Copywriting. Look up Alex Catany on YTFB ads. Nick Shackelford. If you wait for people to give you step-by-step guides, you rob yourself of the possibility to lead the way. 12 and 13. I was looking for a one-stop place to get detailed know-how that could be put into immediate action with positive results. A recipe, if you will, that can be followed with more or less the same results. For example, I enter into an agreement with Company X that for every order of product Y I bring to them they pay me $5. I put an ad on this website name and my expenses are $1,500 per month to do so. I sell about 100 units a day. The company ships direct to the customers and pays me within 30 days by wire transfer. The last year I made about $150,000 net profit. What you're looking for is a step-by-step course made by someone with experience and a track record of success and a proven methodical process who also happens to be a good teacher, for free. Can't blame you. But you're not going to find it. You ever listen to Jordan Peterson? What you most want to find will be found where you least want to look. What you wrote in that example is not how this works at all, man. Here's how it goes. I found a supplier on Alibaba that offers the product I want to sell to my customers and contacted him. We agreed to work together under a drop shipping agreement. When a customer buys from my store, I notify my supplier and he ships the order. My product costed me $14, and I sold it for $48.99. Advertising on FB has no fixed price because it depends on different factors, but my budget was $2,000 to start things off and test until something clicks for me. No company pays me. I pay myself, I pay FB and I pay my supplier. My profit margins were 40%, around $1,000 days for about 5 months before it tanked. You should really take a look at those links I posted earlier. If you're really interested, do the research. E-commerce is the future. LOL. And you know what I want? A night with even men's in a hot tub on a cool moonlight night. Doesn't anyone at this damn forum have a coveted step-by-step list on how to get that done? Oh, and by the way, I'm not interested in reading any books, even if they can give me the dots to connect. Help me. LOL, you should not be attempting to start a business. You will lose a lot of money. You are way more patient than me. Did you have a successful business first with no branding, then go on to build the brand, or built the brand right from day one? Brand from day one. The brand is part of my USP. You buy mine over Amazon because of the ethos of my brand. I do not think it clusters around the mean. That is not the way to think about it. Either the business make a lot more than 60K or totally not making and money. That sounds like what happens in practice. Obvious troll is obvious. Ha ha ha. Medicine does not taste good, but it's good for you. Love your honesty, MJ, as always. The sacred trivium. I admit I almost lost my shit right there. I rewrote my reply several times before clicking send because it was too harsh. So there's like a space cop out there whose job is to stop people from crossing that barrier. Lol, it's funny to ask about statistics when entrepreneurs are known for beating the odds. You can assume they are against you, so that you don't underestimate the work it takes to get to the millions. I'm not even going to comment on the realistic thought, which almost makes me faint. Realistic doesn't motivate me to get out of bed. This is on point. Great thread.